our second segment. There we go. So this is season 2 of Big Win Wednesday. It is December the 28th. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all the wonderful holiday celebrations that are going on. We appreciate you guys. And this is part 2 of our Big Win Wednesday, where we go over the eXp model, this little company that started 13 years ago or so that has revolutionized the way that real estate agents are compensated. And we have a very excited gentleman on here, Mr. Jack McPartlen, that again has volunteered his time, his talent to be on here tonight to share. And so, Jack, thank you, man. It's great to have you on. Merry Christmas to you and your family. And
Thanks,
I don't know if
Tony.
you've got a presentation, but you should be able to set that up because I think you're a co-host. So just go ahead and take it away. And thank you again for being here. We're excited to see your overview.
Thank you, Tony, so much. And everyone, I just want to make sure, can you all see the screen?
Coming through, you might want to blow it up unless you need that side panel over there.
Nope, I'm good.
Look at that. Perfect. That looks great.
That's looking good. All right. Well, Tony, thank you so much. And Brandon, what an awesome presentation. You know, I think for everyone looking at different ways to build business, especially as you know what's coming up here for us, and if there is in a downturn for certain markets. But everyone, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jack McPartlen. I'm up here in Boston, Massachusetts, and I am super excited tonight, Tony. You know, this is something I've been working to present, and my background basically over the last 20 years, I've been a safety manager, but I've always had real estate as something I've loved, been involved with investing and that type of thing. And what I always do, like when I start off the training, I kind of ask some questions of expectation, or just think about maybe some levels of takeaways after this or during the presentation. And if I could just share one piece of this, if I could share a collaborative environment and something that could raise your success, would you be interested in that? Just one consideration to think about. The second one would be, if I could raise your focus and your outcomes in 2023 with the tools, the programs are really different than any other real estate brokerage, would you be interested in that? And again, just think of that as a takeaway. And I'm going to jump in now to the presentation itself. But, what we'll cover, who we are, our business model, the compensation, obviously, cloud-based and our community efforts, and then join a team that's breaking down boundaries. We're doing some exciting things, and I'll get into some personal storytelling here in a little bit as well, just to showcase some of that. But our founder, Glenn Sanford, what an amazing guy. If you haven't seen him, I would definitely search him out, see what he's doing these days on YouTube. He's all over the place. He just, what a leader he is, from like a mindset approach perspective, but how he developed this business to really focus on us as the agents and the brokers first, kind of an upside down thing. Like, we get paid first, and in all the other elements to help benefit us and our families with healthcare, with all the professional partners. And I'll get into some of these topics in a little bit here, but he really thought this out, and to really, have a cloud-based environment. So in 2009, when he first, developed this for us, he really had so many considerations, and now as him and his leadership team have developed all these years, it is such an amazing place to be. So who we are and how we made it today. So this is a chronological view here, right? Starting out from 2009. And, as we kind of move through the years, I know, 2016 timeline, it was a big deal. And then, 2017, we started getting recognition from outside of eXp. Glassdoor's best places to work. I know we still get that honor and that acknowledgement. 2018, eXp World Holdings joins the NASDAQ. Right, so that's another piece of we get stock, and I'll share some of that information. But, honestly, the growth has been so explosive the last 4 years alone. This slide only goes to 2021, but I can say for right now, we have over 86,000 agents worldwide. We're in 23 different countries. So just think of the potential referral programs and relationships we could be with, from family that's overseas or future acquaintances, future business partners. It's such an amazing platform. So eXp core values, right? So again, my perspective on this slide is I've come from corporate America, and when they talk about certain pieces like service, sustainability, collaboration, transparency, what's actionable about this stuff, right? What does this really mean? So one of the more important, pieces here for me is collaboration, team building, sharing best practices. I host weekly calls with our team just to make sure people are, in sync with what they need for tools, training, just if they're having a bad week, right? You need to pick me up and talk about that type of thing. And a lot of times those discussions turn into takeaways, right? Some positive action for that next week, right? So, it's having fun, it's being part of a community. A great story a few years back over in Westboro, Massachusetts. It's kind of it's like an urban town, but it's a smaller town in the area. Myself, Lay Doan, Will Hung, my kids even, we did this community event with the overall town, and it's kind of like, just think of it like a fair, right? A small town fair. But we had the most popular table because Lay, with her, just loving ways about how she presents and what she does, we had like all these games for kids, right? So just picture a huge line of like 50 kids coming up to us to play these games, and we have like free gifts to give away. Even my kids, the two boys that were with us that day, they had a blast. And that's what I mean by community. eXp is focused on our local communities, us as agents, how we collaborate and work. I'm also a sport coach for an 8th grade team in Hudson, Mass. We do a lot of community efforts together with the boys and showcasing eXp, including some tournaments this year with I'll just say that I did some advertising through youth football and flag football, and it led to some pretty cool stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna jump into our business model. So this is a slide I think kind of makes sense to folks, right? Like the old brick and mortar type of businesses like Blockbuster, Circuit City, traditional real estate brokers, and then who are the game changers, right? Like Netflix, Amazon, obviously, right? They're huge, and they're continuing to grow. And then here we are, eXp. And for me, it's innovative, in the dynamic of having the eXp world, all the connectivity from a virtual perspective. But for my business, even though I have all those tools behind me, it's me, right? My brand, my name. eXp allows me to have my name on everything that I do for marketing wise, and people know me as a person, as a dad, as a football coach. But eXp gives us that flexibility in how we develop our businesses and brand ourselves. But then all those tools, right? And I'm going to get into that in a second here, just so you can see what we're talking about. So, one brokerage, not a franchise, right? This is a very important piece of how we work and operate. We have powerful equity opportunities with not just revenue share, but also stock. We have the cloud campus environment. There's no desk fees. You can work from anywhere. We do have office spaces in when they call Regis offices. So very corporate, very beautiful building type office space. We have at least, 10 of them in my area here in Massachusetts. I believe there's over 3,000 across the US. So if you did want a quiet space or an office space to meet with someone, a client, other realtors even do training and live trainings, you have that access. But I think most folks do, work from home, work from Starbucks, right? Work from wherever they want to work from. Real-time support. And I'm going to get into this because the way I look at this, we have layers of support. We have a state broker team. We have weekly meetings with those professionals in helping us build our businesses. We have the client services and onboarding through the eXp world, which, someday that's going to be 24/7, It's not yet, but as we're growing into other countries, we do have so much support all the time. We have workplace, and again, I'll get into some of these details in a bit as well, but that is such a powerful tool. If I were to go to ask a question right now in the water chat room, within minutes, I would get an answer. If I have a referral and I have, say, a listing in Florida, I share that, which I have in the past. I will get agents contacting me, texting me, just to say, Jack, I can help. What do you need from me? And again, it's such powerful tools to help our businesses, help communicate, right? Just build our collaboration like no other. Live training, I know it says 50 hours here, but honestly, I think lately it's been more like 80 hours weekly. And it's live training done by professionals, the most professional, highest regarded folks. We call them icon agents in eXp, but truly, amazing content. You can ask questions, having, as we call them, our avatars, the folks that were in the eXp world. And I joke, because you can make the avatar look just like you, or you can make it look like whatever you want, right? My son likes to drive the big powerboat around the lake they have there. And they have, basketball, they have soccer. But again, to me, that this last point here, with our growth the way it's been, and the continued focus on the international aspect of this, the collaboration, bar none, is amazing. And so I know we're going to do some amazing things in the coming years. And again, it's 86,000 agents right now, or plus, I should say. We're just going to continue to grow. So just to share, the agent-centric value proposition, right? So compensation obviously is important for all of our livelihoods, the community aspect and the cloud-based component. So I'll just jump in with the compensation. We don't have franchise fees. We have the 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap, which is really important. And we'll share in a second how you can actually get that $16,000 back before an end of a year, which many agents who have experience and been in the business for a while, that they do this year in and year out. Our equity awards for meeting production goals is amazing. And I can even share a piece even for new agents, how to essentially get equity awards during the year. So it essentially negates your fees, right? So we'll talk about that in a sec. But the community basis, again, this is probably one of the most important things for me in my business and all the folks that are around me. There's so many just folks that are in this business to collaborate and share. And you don't get that these days, right? And I can just say a sports team or any professional business, that dynamic of thinking of others first, to have all of us elevate and achieve something greater. I have so many personal stories or examples I can give here, and I'm sure everyone on this call, Tony, Tom Trong, others that, whoever in this example invited you to see this presentation in our Big Win Wednesday here. There's some amazing folks. This year myself, I became a mentor. That's something that was a goal of mine to achieve that this year, because again, for me, it's the bigger rewards of seeing people succeed and what that means for their families, their kids. It's really important stuff. And again, eXp they do some amazing things to help us, right? Help us do these type of things. So cloud-based, anywhere, anytime, we can, it is flexibility about where we work, right? That's so important. But I think all the tools that we get access to are bar none, like I'll call them world-class tools to be our very best at what we do and to be our very best for our clients. And so for me, one best example here is in your listing presentations, showcasing some of these tools of how you can, be the most dynamic agent in your area, and how you can be the best marketing person, how you can be the best networker, how you can share someone's listing over every MLS across the country. Can anyone on this call or in this meeting say that and share that? Not unless you have the partnerships that we have with eXp. And that's one big dynamic I use in my presentation. And it's the truth, through a partner we have with Ideal Estate, I can share a listing across every MLS and across the country. It's a pretty powerful tool because it's just that we can bring in buyers like no one else. So jumping ahead here, again, the cloud campus environment, we don't have desk fees. You can work from anywhere. It really, this dynamic of cutting the overhead brick and mortar costs, right? We don't have the same expenses that all the traditional brokers have. We don't have the expensive leases. We invest in agent support and technology. There's so much money that goes into that. We do paperless transactions. So there's a tool called SkySlope. So even in your very first week, you'll get trained on that tool and the dynamic of using all, online, dot loop or DocuSign type of documentation to get our transactions done without paper. And then you get instant access to training and support. So compensation, again, just the detail with the 80-20 commission split, the 16,000 cap. After you sell in most, I'll say the dynamic of what I try to relay this message is, if you sell $3.2 million of business, then you're going to go to 100% commissions. So in an area like mine, it's about 8 homes, in a year. And then after that, anniversary year, you'd start over again. But just think of that, right? If in some, if you're in a city environment and you sell 1 or 2 homes and you go to 100% commissions. Well, in that same calendar year, if you go ahead and sell 20 more homes, you'll get that $16,000 back in stock. Now, when the stock was raising as crazy it was, and when it split, well, I guess it was a year and a half ago now, 2 years ago, people were buying homes in cash. They were setting their kids up for college. They were doing so many dynamic things with just stock alone. And I know from a lot of agents, right, they don't have a 401k or traditional way for saving for retirement. This is a great way for that, right? In my case, and our younger kids are going to be going to college someday, sooner than I want to even think about that. But that is something that's we're planning for that as well. Let me jump over here to the standard costs. So it's $149 for startup fee with the application. It's $85 a month for the cloud brokerage fee, and that's every month. And then only with your transactions for residential, you'll have a $25 transaction review fee and then a $40 risk management fee. Now, when I said earlier, like if you were to get, when you sell your first home, you'll get $200 of stock. If an agent were to join you, you sponsored an agent into eXp, they sell their first home, you get $400 of stock. Now imagine doing that twice and with your first sale alone. That's $1,000 of extra income, essentially, wiping away these fees in a year. And a lot of the new agents that join us, we talk about that a lot, of how to set them up for success by doing these type of things. And just that, again, that value of I want to share these type of things with them and their families, so it makes a difference for them. And eXp, right? They're thinking for us to make a difference for our families. So the revenue share plan, this is such an awesome piece of eXp and what Glenn designed for us, right? So the folks that are performing the most, performing as the highest levels, we get rewarded for that. And in my example, I guess I can compare to other Fortune 100 companies that they do not pay their hardworking folks back like this. They don't give them the bonuses that eXp does, and really to keep building and to continue to promote that sharing and collaborative environment. The Icon agents are awesome. I could honestly reach out to any Icon agent right now, and I know they'd be helping me if I had some concern or question or just that, to pump me up if I had a bad day even, right? To really hit home and do the best I possibly can. But there's more information on this, and at the bottom here that we could share with anyone who has questions. So single agent revenue share. So this is something, as we call it, the revenue share program. Just think of it as like a referral fee. I think that's probably the best way I can describe this. So you will get revenue share when you sponsor an agent, and then during the years to come, each and every year, for example, if you have a capping agent on your tier 1, you get up to $2,800 per agent, not from the agent. eXp is paying us that money, right? So as part of that $16,000 in in the splits, that's what pays for this type of part of our business structure. And just think, the best thing I always give an example of, say if you had 10 capping agents your first year that you introduced to the business, and obviously they're performing well, they're doing great things for eXp, they're getting rewarded for that, you're getting rewarded for that, and that's $28,000, right? Just think of that as an extra, another level of income for you during the year. And a lot of agents, I should say this, you don't have to do this as part of your business plan. This is just another, I guess you could say, a bonus part if you want to do that. And I think Tom always gives this example. It's probably like 1% of all the agents in eXp really, do this as an effort to make that extra income, but you do not have to do this. So this is just another example of this. How it breaks out from tier 1 to tier 2, the 7 tiers. Each tier pays a little bit different. And this example here, having it, say, the first, say, 4 folks on your tier 1, if they were capping agents, you get that $2,800 per agent. And then this is a better slide to kind of break that down, right? So from tier 1s to tier 7, it goes from the $2,800 up to the $4,000 in tier 7. And then this is the dynamic that they call it personal qualifying agent count need. So you have to qualify these different levels to get the count. So as you get 1 agent in your first level to 5 agents in your second level, that's what allows you to get the payout, if you will, the referral fees from these levels. And this is just another, way to share the adjusted gross commission income, as they call it, AGCI, and then by percentage, and then the FLQA, frontline qualifying agent. So those are the folks that are selling the homes, and you're getting a referral fee for that. And the breakdown is by numbers, like how many agents would be in these levels to get the payouts. Now, I would say if you have, hopefully you do, if you have more questions about this, please, contact your friend or your business partner who shared this, Big Win Wednesday with you for future questions, and breaking it down even, explaining, how powerful this can grow. Some of the agents on this call, even if they have, some of their teams are building over 1,000 agents, just think what that would mean for your family, right? The income that's building from, $2,800 for 1 agent over, say, 1,000 agents, right? Just how amazing that could be for the potential. And this is legacy building, right? What I mean by that is this can be passed on to your children and your children's children, right? So this is such a powerful thing that no companies, especially corporate in America, have that type of dynamic, and especially, these days of how, business operates when that comes to that type of thing. This slide, this is very important for many families in eXp. And my wife, Tammy, she's a nurse. So from a transparency perspective on what I'm gonna message here, they told us, with Tammy's, with Reliant Medical, they couldn't beat Reliant Medical, right? That as a medical professional, my wife is, but with most agents that have come over to eXp, and they've traditionally paid very high medical programs and plans, a lot of folks, and I can't really acknowledge this, but there's a lot of agents that have saved a lot of money by using Clearwater, and you use your own doctor. You have the same plans for your children, for your family that you would have from whatever else, but you're saving a lot of money. And now this makes sense to me, because just think of the buying power, right? With 86,000 now, agents, and still growing, this is just, I know this is going to be continuing to grow and build, in the wellness part of this, right? The wellness of all our families, like just being healthier and better. I guess in my case, a dad or coach, to be healthy around the kids and to have a long life, but they do a lot of amazing wellness type of programs as well as part of this. So again, this is something to look into, and there's some more information we can get to folks if you do have more questions around this. So cloud-based. So what does this mean, right? So look at this little image here of the cell phone. And so these are like the different rooms, if you will, different conference rooms, different theaters, different auditoriums that you can get into for a training, a meeting, even just a one-on-one session with say if it's one of our 2 state brokers who are amazing here in Massachusetts. Anytime I have a question, they're so readily available for me and for our team. I really feel like they go the extra mile just to make sure that, they're there for us in whatever we have for questions. But there's so much more, like the technology piece. If you're having a technology issue with your computer, right, there's someone that's going to be around to help you in the eXp world. And, just to break down some of the, I guess now the tools part of the business, right? So the eXp Enterprise, and again, this is something in my business. I go into the eXp Enterprise every day. So from a detail of the marketing and all that we get for free, I'll say, the online social media aspect of this, you can do so many professional imagery and advertisements and marketing through this. I'd love to do a training with folks if you ever want to come back and see me someday do some of this stuff, because we can post like mad crazy people, but be impactful with our messages, relatable, and just continue our online presence with how we do things through eXp Enterprise. With a click of a button, I can send a whole mailer out to a farming area that I have, and it's a paid for type of thing. But the online portion is you don't have to pay for any of those type of things. Transaction management with SkySlope, what an amazing tool and so simple that is. Our community platform and how important that is, just to all the sharing and everything that goes along with that. That's so important. Now, CRM and lead generation, I haven't really touched upon this yet. It's called KV Core. So when I first started out, and I think it was my first couple of weeks, Tom challenged me, Tom Trung, to say, Jack, he goes, you got more time than money. If you can spend 45 minutes an hour each night, get into a building routine on this new tool, he goes, you will be successful. And what he meant by that was, as I'm generating squeeze pages, landing pages, sharing others' listings, in this case, it was other eXp agents' listings, I go to bed at night. So I'd probably do it like 7, 8 o'clock at night, go to bed by 8:30. I go to bed pretty early. The next morning, some mornings I wake up, I'd have 20 leads. All right. So I was sharing these social media posts of KV Core to like Facebook, LinkedIn, I could use Instagram now, but geez, back then, who else was I using? It was kind of like a local, almost like a park bench type of place to share information. So once I get those 20 leads, I go back in to see what people are looking at. Either if I couldn't, talk to them that morning, I could build market reports for them. I could build listing and search alerts for them for future properties they were looking for. It's such a powerful tool. And once you get it automated, what I mean by that, build those market reports and those listing reports, now it'll drip on those future clients. So you don't have to touch on them every single day. Only when, in this case, this past week, someone reached back out to me and said, hey, Jack, I'd like to sell my house in March. Can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, Chris. I'm like, I can do whatever you need me now, but let's talk when you're ready. And this is a guy that I haven't talked to in over 2 years, but because the system was dripping on him, we're ready to go when he is. The live training, that is so important. And, getting out of COVID these days, it's not just the live training in the world. There's so many awesome trainers in our local states, in the broker teams. There's a lot of actual live training in offices these days as well. Definitely take advantage of that. And then the eXp's resource guide. There's so much information there for us all. All right, so eXp Enterprise, I got into that a little bit, but yeah, there's so much there. As you kind of like, if you can kind of see this image here, but on the left, you can break down like what your dashboard looks like, what your business looks like. If you do have a team, if folks that you've sponsored, you can see that in those reports. This just the investor relations, the office press releases, all the different tools we have. Making it rain. I didn't talk about this yet. This is basically something where we can buy almost like a lead generation services. I've tried it before. It's pretty powerful. Again, it's kind of like an automated system that you set it and you go, and leads come into your KV Core system. But there's so much on these each individual tools. I think the value here is for me just to kind of share this as an introductory type of tool at this point, or tools. And if you have more details around these, please reach out to who invited you tonight, and or even myself in the future. If we do like a weekly meeting, we can cover some of this in detail as well. So transaction management, right? This platform of SkySlope is amazing. So basically, every time you enter, some, like you're an offer, right? The signed offer, the lead, disclosure form, your wire fraud form, different forms that are required for your each transaction. The brokers review each document, and they can throw comments in to acknowledge, hey, yep, you got everything right here, we're good to go. Or, oh, I need this piece of the form signed. And they help us, right? They help us get these transactions completed. Honestly, way before your closing date, the broker team will have your with your help. Obviously, we got to work together, but we would get your file closed, and then the day of closing, eXp, that dynamic is they would have that check ready to go, either in escrow, or in this case, if it's coming from the other side, right? You potentially would get your check that day of closing, because all of your information is already saved in the system, right? How awesome is that, right? Instead of chasing paperwork around and have that stress of that type of thing. This is all proactive tools that we have to help us and help us grow our business. So community platform, to me, this is like one of the most powerful tools that we have, called Workplace. Again, if I ask a question here on any of the different specific groups, or even, as they call it, like the water chat room, like a kind of a big open area for folks to go to. It's so powerful. Our broker team saves a lot of our files and trainings here within our state broker team room. Again, they do such an amazing job of all that they share with us and how they do that. But there's so much communication, the referral dynamic. You could build such an amazing referral business by the connectivity you have across the US, the 23 countries that we're now doing in business in, and we're going to keep on growing. It's just an amazing format here. So the CRM and the lead generation, again, that's called KV Core. It really is so powerful. I should also say that the dynamic I didn't mention before, you actually have a website as part of this. So when I share listings or squeeze pages, landing pages, when someone clicks on a link, wherever that marketing piece is, say if it's in Facebook, now that those future leads go into my website link, if you will, right? My domain link. And then they basically come into KV Core by, usually they would just put their name and number or email, acknowledging, whatever they're looking for. If it's their, a new home, or they're interested in selling their home, that type of thing. So again, the live training, this is so good. And there's so many different trainings, like, each week our new agents, they go into the world to get the breakdown of what the courses are, so they can line up their weeks ahead of breaking out what classes they want to be in, either by interest, or in this case, if like a new agent, you could set up a whole series of trainings, like the Excel series or fast track series. It's almost like a curriculum built for you, and to get you up and running quicker than anything else. I should also state that if you are a new agent, you'd be getting a mentor, and that mentor would help guide you in just that, every detail with all of eXp's tools, but also be local and a knowledgeable agent in your local area to help you with just building those skill sets of what a successful agent is. So the eXp resource guide and real-time support, so right at the bottom here, the support teams online and available weekdays, 6 a.m., 5 p.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, again, with even Workplace, people are live all the time, right? So you have so much support, and again, layers of support, right? That we get, that I feel like this is something that kind of gets, I don't say overlooked by other companies, but I guess in my case, if I can give an example from like a corporate world, right? You'd have like one person you would go to get an answer, and what if that person's not there, right? In this example, we have so many layers of people that help us. So community, utilizing the knowledge and experience of its members. And again, this is such a collaborative environment. The celebration of diversity, all the networks we have. Again, I can't share enough of the details of this, but between ARIA, the Black eXp network, the Latino network, our Pride network, eXp Power Girls, just so many dynamic people, leadership, but just that collaboration of respect, and that caring part of how we work together as a team, right? Like an overall team. And I think for me is that reflection of a lot of times when I do even like a training tonight, the boys aren't around, but I let them listen to the topics at hand, right? Because it's such a growing, maturing type of thing when I say this, like for the student athletes, I guess. Like when they get to hear us as parents talk about some of these things and how we're building ourselves to be the best we can be, it's that trying to pull that information so they can see what we're doing and for their own lives and what they're going to grow to. Kyle and Johnny, they hear a lot of me and a lot of the trainers that we have through eXp. So eXp Life, this is another awesome aspect of sharing personal stories. So many different levels of personal stories and success stories with the agents. I love just, seeing on even LinkedIn, like all the different stories that come out and sharing about agent success. And again, I think for me, it's not just the, how much money they made, but what they're doing to give back to their communities, right? In Mexico, I think last year, how many homes were built for folks that needed just shelter, needed homes. There's a bunch of agents that donated their money to help with that effort. And it was significant, there's so many different stories that go into this each and every day. And again, the international collaboration is I feel like bar none, and it's only going to continue to grow and get better. There's so many leaders out there that are driving this and pushing this for all of us to benefit from. This slide really kind of reflection of just, how we're spread across the world. I did just add Dubai because that was the newest country that eXp opened its doors in. And as you can see, right, we're all over the place, but we're still growing. So an agent advisory team, I'll call it, right? Look at, these are all the members that it's almost like our guide of, I'll say ethics, but hearing about diversity, maybe challenges and just that a springboard directly that our leadership team listens to and really, I think addressing to be proactive in what goes into these discussions and again, just like an ear for all of us agents to have a communication, I guess, to our leadership, right? I think this is another awesome example that Glenn went in the team that they designed this, that powerful dynamic of us as agents being able to go to one of these awesome leaders, Lisa Parento, amazing leader. If you ever get to hear her as a trainer, she's quite just I have the highest regard for her and what she's done in her business, but because that caring part of what as she comes across and what real estate really means to her and the professionalism and all that she brings to the table with what she does. eXp Solutions, so look at all these different tools, vendors, services, express offers program. This is kind of a powerful thing for me that I'm tied to a bunch of investors. I brought the actual first iBuyer into Massachusetts back, I guess, a few years ago now. Express offers is throughout the US these days. So what that is basically an iBuyer is a cash buyer for our sellers that may need that type of, in this case, if it's a distressed situation or they just want to sell without listing. But as we say, 94% of the sellers these days, they don't want a cash offer. They want to list at the highest market condition. But if we're doing a presentation acknowledging express offers up front, who's now better to say, oh, well, I can help you with a listing. Here's how we can sell your home in 30 days. And by the way, here's some of the other, partners and business partners that we have to help us list your property and market it like no other agent in the area. So for me, using these services, and this is so much. Build a sign. We can get all of our signs. I think it's like a 30% discount by using Build a Sign or Oakley signs. There's Success Space. This is another amazing So for coaching, for future training, success, and all that brings to our level of again, elevating us as agents, but as a team, they're going to be doing some amazing things in the future. Just again, it's more of our solutions and vendors that we work with. All right, so join the team that's breaking down boundaries. Now, here's some of the reviews that we've got from outside of, I'll say that our eXp world, and Inman, team recruitment drives eXp strong agent growth in Q3. Some of this is back 2001 timeline, but certainly 2022. I can just share, like, this past quarter, we did over $1 billion of revenue. I'm not sure where everyone's coming from, if you are looking from outside looking into eXp, but just think of the dynamic. In one quarter, we had over $1 billion of revenue. This year alone, the first 3 quarters, that's what we also did, $1 billion each quarter. So just amazing growth. I guess for me, to kind of end on this slide, if the dynamic of, it's not just what, for me personally to build my business, but what it means for my family, right? For my kids. And I guess from a goal setting perspective, I'm really big on goal setting for the boys in football, writing down their goals weekly, getting after it each week, challenging themselves even more to get after it. And it's about feeling good, right? So on Saturday, you feel so good going into that next week because you accomplish your goals, or even if you didn't accomplish it, but you were that close, right? And you're feeling so good. I know our team talks a lot about that. And I'll joke, hopefully Dorothy Manning's on this call. If some of our newest agents, get their first listing appointment, they get a contract, right? They meet with a FSBO, an expired owner, and then they get a contract. Obviously, they're so excited. But our joke is that, hey, if you went out and did this, someone should, you should reward yourself. But in our case, I always joke that Dorothy is going to buy them a pizza to reward them for their efforts. And again, right, feeling good about what they just did. And in that growth, week after week, of that positive type of environment. And again, I can't speak highly enough of what and how, eXp brings that to us to be successful. Again, just some more acknowledgements and, about eXp. The top one, number one is top independents. Number one is top movers. Number two is top movers in volume. These are 2019 to 2020 data. But as you can see, right, we're now ranked with whoever else is out there in competition these days. And maybe back 10 years ago or more, we weren't there, but you can see how many people are so successful, and the dynamic of what we're doing in I don't want to say competition, but it is competition, right? That we're in. And then here's our growth. In this case, agent growth. And at this point, again, it's over 86,000 agents. All right, so really coming up to the end here, becoming eXp agent. I hope I was able to give a high level type of introduction to this. Certainly, please reach out if you have any real questions about some of the tools we use. If usually for us, if we do like weekly trainings, please, you're more than welcome to come and join our Zoom meetings and hear about what we do with our collaboration. And again, I think for me that like the kind of end on the takeaways, right? Even if you didn't join eXp, think about what collaboration that you have in your business and how you want to drive that to be a better agent, right? Just a better team builder. The tools that you use. How can you accomplish more than you did last year, right? With your business planning and goal setting for 2023, what tools are going to drive you to be more successful this coming year? And what actions can you take to do that, right? I think for all of us, having those game plans and those goals written down to make it all happen. But I think that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions or.
Jack, thank you so much. I got to kind of kid around a little bit, but I'm ready to sign up again after watching that presentation. So No, truly, it was a great presentation,
Thank you.
very well done, very detailed. And for those that are guests here, this is not EXP is not a high pressure, you don't have to be a high pressure company when the numbers speak for themselves, right? So, like you said, Jack, just get back with the person that invited you on tonight and get your questions answered, maybe go into a deeper dive. It took me 4 or 5 months before I finally was able to, part with Keller Williams after I had been really instructed on this business model. But like you, Jack, it's been the best business decision of my professional career, which has been a long one. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, my family, and certainly my future. So thank you for sharing again this incredible revolutionary model and opportunity for everyone that was on tonight. We really appreciate you sharing.
Great
I have a
job,
question.
Jack. Dorothy, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Tom. So I guess I'm down for pizza.
You have been for a while,
Again.
Dorothy.
You know how many pizzas I have to buy every year? Oh,
Right?
so
I'm getting
anyhow,
hungry.
Jack and I, pardon me?
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, let's all go over to Jack's house. Jack and I have been accountability buddies since day one when we both signed up, and he's become one of my dearest friends in my whole life. So I'm really
Cool.
touched by that. And it's just an example of how things really are in this company. There are a lot of people, and you feel safe and comfortable, and you're having fun because you want to be with those people. You like them. But Jack has done something that's very special, which may be a concern for other people. He has been very successful in integrating his family life and his business so that his family feel included and they're contributing to it. Jack, could you maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me, like when I'm doing trainings and just like this on Zoom, usually the boys are right behind me on the couch listening in. There's a lot of dynamics about goal setting, writing things down. So before these days, I'm a 4-sport coach. I'm coaching basketball, which I never really even played basketball as a kid, but the boys wanted me to coach. So, but what I do at the beginning of the season, I always set out to ask them, if you were to write down 3 goals a week, what would they be? And in my example, though, I kind of push them a little bit. The first one is doing something kind for their family members, a friend, someone, in the community, that's goal number 1, and be purposeful about it, each week. Goal number 2, if you have a math test this week, get off your ass, study for it, get an A, right? Get fired up, go after that. If you're having trouble, talk to your teacher, be engaging with your teacher to say, hey, I need your help. Can you help me get this done? Be engaging with them and advocate for yourself. And then the third goal, obviously, if we have a big football game at the end of this week, I want 6, turnovers. I want 6 touchdowns. Let's get after it. Let's get the win. And so that for me, that's kind of the dynamic of, we talk about the boys, and these days it's not just my sons, and it's the football team. The boys have been with me since the 2nd grade.
It's awesome. Well done. It's not an easy task to integrate your business with your family, but those boys are, gosh, talk about a PhD in entrepreneurship, being able to learn right there at the foot of their father, and what a blessing to them as they continue to grow older. So again, Jack, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Tom, I think
All right.
you and Mr. Daniel Lang are up next and going to go over this other awesome
I love it.
generating. So how are you?
Thank you. First, I want to thank you, Tony, for hosting Big Win Wednesday. You've done an awesome job. Thanks for being here last week in December and staying committed to the team, staying committed to all of you who are on the call today. So, Tony, thanks so much. Thanks, Jack, for the presentation. Loved it, man. Proud of you. So proud of you. And everyone else, give him a hand. Before Daniel and I take over and get into a revenue share quick start training, who's got any last questions for Jack or any of us about the eXp explained model not relating to revenue share? Save your revenue share and building the organization for the portion that Daniel and I are doing. But anything else you guys have questions about? Okay. Going once. Going twice.